Hey guys, welcome back for another video. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched the last one, and if you didn't have a chance to view it, there'll be a link somewhere at the top of this screen so that you can go back and catch up on what you missed. If there's one prevalent need that I see amongst new FBA entrepreneurs, and even some experienced ones, it's how to identify a good product. In today's video, I want to share something with you that I created that will help you to identify whether or not a product is a winner or a loser. I see way too many people on Facebook asking if the product that they found is a good one or not. Now I wanted to help out these new people, and I want to help out some experienced people as well. So what I did is I created an Amazon FBA product rating sheet. Now that sounds complicated, but it's actually really easy. There are 10 different criteria that you are going to put a score to, and when you add those criteria up, if they fall within a certain range of numbers, you'll know if you have a good product or if you have a bad product. Remember, as Amazon FBA sellers, we're in this to sell the best and leave the rest. So without any further ado, I give you the FBA product rating sheet. Number 1 on our list. How many of the first 12 listings for our product have at least 275 sales a month or more? Now we want to make sure that there's enough demand for our product. Our goal is to get on the first page, to rank to the first page. And we want to make sure that there's at least 275 sales a month for a majority of those listings. Otherwise, it's not worth it to go after the product. It's not worth it to even try to get to first page. So we want to make sure first page has at least that many sales so that when we get there, we can be sure that we can be one of those people selling that amount. So for the scale on this one, from 1 to 12, you're going to fill in the number that matches how many sellers have at least 275 sales a month or more. Number 2 on our list. How many of the first 12 listings for our product have less than 100 reviews? Now this is important because the reviews gauge the competitiveness of our market. Now with the reviews, if there are a lot of sellers with high reviews, that means there are a lot of sellers that are already ranked and that have been selling for a long time. Since our goal is to get onto the first page, if the majority of sellers are already ranked and have a ton of reviews, the chances of us coming in and kicking out one of them to take their spot is really low. So we want to look for a product that has lots of sellers with little reviews or low reviews. That way we can get in there, we can get ranked, and we can get a lot of sales. So for number 2, on the scale of 1 to 12, you're going to fill in the number of sellers there are with less than 100 reviews. Number 3 on our list. How many of the first 12 listings are different sellers? Now we want to make sure the market that we're getting into is not already dominated by a certain seller or by Amazon. Remember, we're trying to increase our odds for being able to get on the first page, get ranked, and get sales. Now if there's already established sellers and the same seller multiple times or Amazon multiple times, that will make it that much more difficult to get in there and get ranked. So on that scale of 1 to 12, you're going to fill out how many sellers are different from each other. Number 4 on our list. What is the product's price point? In other words, what is it selling for? We want to make sure that it's selling at a high enough price to have good enough margin, but not too high that the product is too expensive to source from China. I like to look between the range of $20 to $50. So for this scale, it's a 1 to 4. If it's selling around the $20 range, that's a 1. If it's selling around the $30 range, that's a 2, and so on. I want to make sure that the product I'm looking at selling has an average sales price of at least $20 or higher to ensure that I'll have a good amount of margin. Number 5 on our list. How broad is the potential product demographic? Now what I like to do is I like to find a product that can be used by everybody. Men, women, children, adults. I want to find a product that can be used multiple times. I want to find a product that can even be rebought and used again if needed. My goal is to reach the largest amount of people possible that I can sell to. That way my chances of getting lots of sales are good, and my chances of having sustained sales over a long period of time is increased. So on this scale, there's a 1 to 10. Now this is going to be kind of your opinion, what you think about how broad your potential product demographic is, and accordingly is how you'll rate it. Number 6 on our list. How would you rate your product's potential growth or demand based on Google Trends? Now, Google Trends measures the amount of searches for any specific keyword. So what you'll do is you'll type in your keyword and you'll see a chart. And if that chart is growing, if it's going upwards, that means that it's increasing in popularity, growth, and demand. If you see a chart with spikes every so often, that means your product might be seasonal. That's not good. If you see a chart that is slowly coming down, that means the growth for that or the popularity for that is diminishing. You don't want to see that as well. So this is up to you. Rate your product based on what the growth is and what you think the demand could be in the future. This is a scale of 1 to 10. Rate it what you think is right. Number 7 on our list. How consistent are the product prices based on Camel, Camel, Camel? If you go on Camel, 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 you can type in the ASIN or the product description and your products will come up. And you can check the different listings and see how consistent the prices have been. Have the prices gone down consistently? That's not a good thing. Have the prices gone up? Have they stayed perfectly consistent? That would be a good thing. You want to make sure that your product pricing is not on a downward trend, because that means by the time you get your product up and running, the prices will be lower than you expected and they'll keep dropping continually. So you're going to rate this one on a scale of 1 to 10, how you think your product scores based on the price consistency that you found from Camel, Camel, Camel. Number 8 on our list. How does the product rate for being able to differentiate from others? Now, this is important because there could be a lot of the same products selling, and you want to make sure that you can get yours distinguished, right? You want to make sure that yours can stand out from everybody else so that when a buyer comes online, they see your product because it stands out for a certain reason, whether there's add-on items, whether it's a different color, whether it's a different shape or design, but it still has the same functionality. You want to make sure that your product can be differentiated from the others. So once again, this is on a scale of 1 to 10. You're going to rate your product based on your opinion, what you think as far as your product can be differentiated. Number 9 on our list. What's the potential liability for your product? Now, I always think about this, right? What's the chances that somebody can hurt themselves with your product? What's the chances that their children can get hurt by your product? You want to make sure that you don't end up with a lawsuit or getting sued later on down the line. That's the last thing you want when you're starting a small business. So, this product's rating is actually flipped. It's a 10 to 1. The lower your product liability, the higher a score it gets. Number 10 on our list. How dimensionally small and light is your product? Now this is important because Amazon charges you fees depending on how big and how heavy your product is. Now there's always a fixed amount of fees, a certain percentage that Amazon charges you. I think it's 15% for a finder's fee. But there's another fee that's tacked on for the shipping and handling based on the weight and the size of your product. So if the product that you're looking at weighs too much and is too big, they're going to charge you a heck of a lot of fees. It's much cheaper for you, and your profit margin will be a lot greater in the long run if you can have a smaller product and a lighter product. So this scale once again is flipped. It's a 10 to 1. So the smaller and lighter your product, the higher the rating you'll give it. And this is completely based on your opinion. So that's the list. Now, of course, there's always going to be other things to consider, like how much you can get the product made for, if it's just a trend and things like that. So this list, while being generic, is not 100% complete. You're going to have to do some of your own research as well. This list is just meant to help you to realize if this is a potentially good product or if it's a bad product. So let me give you an example real quick of how to use this product rating sheet. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the FBA product rating sheet here. I'm going to give you a quick example, and let's see, I have here a draft stopper. Okay, so draft stopper. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first item, which is how many of the first 12 listings on Jungle Scout have 275 sales a month or more on a scale of 1 to 12. So go back here, we'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. That's not very good. So 4 is our score for that one. 4 listings have 275 sales. Next section, how many of the first 12 listings on Jungle Scout have less than 100 reviews? Let's take a look at that again. you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. 7 listings have less than 100 reviews. How many of the first 12 sellers are different and not Amazon? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll see here, Thermowell 1, 2, there twice. Then you have this home, whatever that is. Home empty building 1, 2. So yeah, it looks like 8. So we'll go ahead and put 8. Maybe off by 1 or 2, but whatever. Okay, so what is the product price point? Now let's take a look at this again. So we see our average up here is 29. However, looking through it, I feel more comfortable saying, this is probably something else, the 127. I feel comfortable probably saying that, $20-ish is the price point, which would give us a score of 1. How broad is the potential product demographic? Anybody can use it. It can go in any house, so we'll go ahead and give that a 9. How much growth/demand potential does the product have based on Google Trends? Okay, so let's pull up Google Trends here. Now this is 2004 to present for Draft Stopper. Now you can see how it has spikes. This is December, December again, December again, December again. So it's really popular during December, probably when it starts to get cold, right? Because it's a draft stopper. You want to stop drafts from coming underneath the doors. So this is a seasonal product, right? This is what is classified as a seasonal product. You see all these spikes every December, and then it comes back down in the summertime. Now this is not a good thing because you want your sales to be consistent. Now it's important to go to different timelines because if I was just here at the past, 30 days, it looks like it still doesn't look that great because it starts coming back down. If we go to just 12 months, then you see it's kind of just cruising along, and then it starts to come up a little bit. Drops down, starts coming up again. So you might think it's gaining, momentum and its potential is growing, when actually if you go to the farther out chart, you'll see it's actually just cyclical. And so that happens every year. It starts to go up towards the end of the year, peaking in December. Alright, so let's go back to our rating. Now, based on Google Trends, you see that it's seasonal. Now, that's not very good, so let's go ahead and just give it a 4. How consistent are the prices based on camel, camel, camel? Let's go to that. You'll see one listing here starts off at $10, makes its way up to $15. This is in 2017. Comes back down, back to $10, then all the way up to $19 during the Christmas season again. So this price is, it's holding its original price of $10. It's not coming down, and it's going up, so that's good. Let's go to another listing here. $13 it starts at, makes its way up to $21, comes back down to $13 currently. So once again, it is not dropping below. It's increasing, if anything, every now and then, but you'll see that spike because it's cyclical. One more. You'll see here, price starts off at 19, makes its way up to 27, comes back down to 25, and then up to 30 currently. So that chart is a little more promising because it's definitely holding its original price, increasing, and then increasing even more. So that's not bad, but given that we know that it's cyclical and the prices are holding, we'll still give it an 8 because it's it's consistent. The prices are. Next question: how well does the product allow for differentiation? Now, if we go back to that camel, 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 you'll see this. This is what it looks like right here. The draft stopper, pretty simple. If we switch to this product here, it's also a draft stopper. It's a double double draft stopper. So you see there's just one on each side. So there's basically just those two different types. But other than that, there's really nothing you can do to differentiate it. You might be able to add something on, but I mean it's not great. So we'll go ahead and give that a 5. How low is the product liability? I would say very low. There's not much that can happen with that, Only thing I can think of is maybe like, a dog eating it and something or getting sick, but I mean, let's be realistic, that's probably not going to happen. So we'll go ahead and give it a 10 as far as the liability. It's very low. And then how dimensionally small and light is the product? Now this is interesting because if you look at the product, I'd have to check the dimensions, but if it's over 18 inches, it'll be oversized, but more than likely they'll fold it in half or something like that when they ship it, so it won't be considered oversized. So it's hard to say, but it's a very light product. And so we'll go ahead and go here. We'll go ahead and give this a 7, because we don't know about the length of it, but we know that it's pretty light, so we'll still score it pretty high as far as that goes. And we'll see here that we come up with a total of 63. Okay, so we're looking for a score of 70 or better. Sell the best and leave the rest. So, you know, while you may think this has potential, realistically, it doesn't. Especially with the sales. You can usually tell from the first 3 of these categories whether or not it'll be a good product, and the rest is just helping you refine it to know if it's something that you want to pursue. So you can tell just by the sales, first of all, that there's not enough sales. Reviews are okay, could be better, and then the sellers, there's a lot of repeat sellers and Amazon sellers, so that may not be something you want to go after. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give you guys a link for this Excel spreadsheet so you can print it off or you can download it, put it on your own computer. The link will be in the description. Go ahead and check it out, and that way you can have it for yourselves in the future. So I hope this is helpful to those of you that are beginning, or even those of you that are experienced but looking for a good way to rate your products. I find this useful. I use it now myself, and it's definitely helped me weed out some really bad products that I thought were good. But it's nice to have a checklist like that to determine whether or not a product is good or not. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel, and go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this product rating scale, and look forward to more videos coming at you in the future. Thanks.
Your nose looks great.
Stop. Dang it. That's one thing I need to work on.
I like being mouth open.
They teach you that in art class or drama?
No, dear, I was doing it.
It's my personality, though.
I'm not.
The link's over here.
Yeah.
That's what I said.